Hello, 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 hello. Hello, my loves. Happy Monday, and welcome to another edition of the Weekly Astro Forecast, live here in the Astro Room on YouTube. I am your host and your favorite astrologer, Mel of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So if this is our first time meeting, welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So this channel is everything astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, or if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, my loves. So this is the weekly astro forecast for the week of May 27th through June 2nd, 2024. All right. So can you believe we are at like June's threshold? Like we're actually like, I think I say this almost every month, like the way that the year just flies by never ceases to amaze me. However, January always feels like 3 years. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, it's like June. And here we are, right? So for the last week of May, we have a pretty good looking week, astrologically speaking. If I had to sum it up in sort of like a concise statement, I would say that this is going to be a week where things kind of come together. And it's also going to be a week of opportunity. Plus, we are going to have a major opportunity to change the way that we think, because we have one of the more dynamic transits going on this week. So there's quite a bit to cover, not too much, but a good chunk of information to get into tonight. And I'm definitely excited to bring it to you as always. But of course, housekeeping and announcements. So if you're joining me here on the live this evening, thank you so much for tuning in. I sincerely appreciate you. Don't forget to say hi on your way in and hit that like button as well. It lets the algorithm know that you like this content, so it'll definitely push it out to other people who may like this content. And the whole goal is to get everyone on the same page. So definitely hit that like button, please, and thank you. And if you're joining me on the replay, I appreciate you just as much. I sincerely hope that you get whatever you are looking for from this broadcast. And if that is the case, also hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell if you haven't already. All right. In terms of announcements, we are on the precipice of a new month, so that means the monthly astro forecast. So on Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, I will be going live to discuss the astrology for June. It's looking really interesting, honey, so you definitely don't want to miss it. Wednesday night, same place, same time. Be there or be square. All right. So if you are someone who is into your horoscope, but you either don't know where to look or what you're finding online just isn't resonating, then you'll definitely want to consider subscribing to my text service, where you will get your horoscope texted to you every Monday, your weekly horoscope, that is. So if you're interested, you will want to text the word ZODIAC to the number 855-826-5544. Again, you'll get your weekly horoscope texted to you every Monday. It's short, sweet, to the point. People seem to really like it. It really resonates. So definitely sign up. Info will be in the description box below. All right. And as always, if you are someone who is brand spanking new to astrology and you have no idea what's going on, or maybe you're not so brand new to astrology and you still have no idea what's going on, don't worry, I got you covered, because there's a lot. Astrology is not just your sun sign and whether you're compatible with someone. It's a lot. So I created this cheat sheet to help you start studying and understanding astrology, mainly the 4 pillars of astrology, which are the planets, the houses, the signs, and the aspects. So it's an 11-page PDF document that gives you a short summary on all of these things so that you can start committing them to memory, because regardless of what anyone says or doesn't say, astrology is indeed a science. And like any science, it requires a good deal of study. So to help you start studying, I created this cheat sheet. If you would like to get it, it is completely free. The link will be in the description box below. All you need to do is drop your email and you will be good to go. All right. taking it a step further, consider becoming a roommate, which is joining our channel membership. All right. So if you are looking for more content, this is definitely the option for you. I do sign-specific content for my roommates, aka my members, on a monthly basis. Plus, you get early access to all the videos every week. Plus, you get a 20% discount on all of my products and services repeatedly, always, right? So it is a great deal. So you get more content, discounts, early access. Plus, it's a great way to support the channel. I definitely have big ideas for this channel. I am trying to take Divine Feminine Works into the future, and your support is greatly appreciated. So consider becoming a roommate. Link will be in the description box below, or if you are watching this on desktop, you can just hit that join button and you'll be good to go. All right. All right. So now that we've gotten everything out of the way, let's get into the astrology for the week. So like I said, this is going to be a week where things are coming together. We've got 2 conjunctions, a bunch of sextiles, and a trine. So this is a week where there's going to be a lot of synergy, aka things coming together. Sextiles denote opportunity. So there are going to be opportunities for quite a bit of stuff this week. Now remember, opportunities are merely just that, opportunities. Unless you take advantage of them, they kind of just pass you by. And then we have the premier, or one of the premier transits of the week, namely not only of the week, but of the year. Jupiter trine Pluto. Now, I did a whole dedicated video on this. Link will be in the description box below if you haven't checked it out already. However, let me just back up a second. So before we talk about the specifics of this week, let's talk about this time period right now. Okay, so we're currently in Gemini season. The sun is in Gemini. We've got a plethora of planets in Gemini. So you're going to want to take a look at where Gemini is in your natal chart. That will let you know where all of this is going down, right? Okay. However, Gemini is an air sign, and it represents our mental activities. And so you may find that this time is either very busy, because Gemini energy tends to be very busy bee, busy body kind of energy. I dub Gemini the social butterfly of the zodiac, right? Always socializing, chatty Cathy, all that good stuff. So this may be a very busy time for you. Lots of communication, lots of opportunity to socialize, all of that good stuff, right? Apart from that, there is a large focus on our mental activities, namely our thoughts, our ideas, right? And so this particular period of time is where you really want to pay attention to not only what you're thinking, but what you are mentally ingesting, okay? What you're listening to, who you're following, right? All of these things can impress your conscious mind, which then impresses your subconscious mind, which then plays out in your reality. So this is the time where we have the ability to get our minds right. And we have the ability to change our stories, to change our narratives, and to think differently, believe differently, so that we can have different things. Okay. So it's really important that you take advantage of that. And I did a whole live last week on manifestation. Hopefully you guys were able to catch it. It's still on the channel. I recorded it. It's on the channel. So if you missed it last week, definitely check that out. Leave the link in the description box below. But this is a very important time for us to change the way that we think. And the astrology supports that 150%. Okay. Especially with what's going on this week. All right. So that being said, let's get into the details and see exactly what we've got going on this week. Of course, we start with the highlights. And first, we have what I like to call take the lead. And this is Mercury conjunct Chiron. So this is being very conscious about healing your wounds, your traumas, etc. It may also find you taking a leadership role, okay? Mercury is, I believe that Mercury is still in, Mercury is not conjunct Chiron. It's Mars conjunct Chiron, my bad. Because I'm like, Mercury is definitely not in Aries. Mars is in Aries. All right. So still, We are very conscious about healing our wounds, but we're very proactive about it as well. It's almost like, when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and you actually do something about it, that's how Mars conjunct Chiron feels. So not only are you proactive about healing and, fixing yourself and getting rid of emotional baggage, but this may prompt you to start new things, perhaps things that in the past you were afraid of or you were insecure about, right? This could also have you taking a leadership position. So starting something new and being like the boss at it, right? Like perhaps starting a new business endeavor or something like that. It's also having the courage to work on past wounds, right? Because healing is not linear, it's cyclical, right? However, sometimes the wounds could be so deep or they could be so intense that we're almost afraid to revisit them. We're afraid to lift up the Band-Aid, right? And do the necessary healing. However, Mars conjunct Chiron will give you the courage to do so. So a lot of headway could be made this week in terms of healing and in terms of starting something new and getting over your fears and your insecurities. Okay. Next up, we have what I like to call self-awareness and support. And this is the Sun sextile the North Node. Now, this is the opportunity. This is one of the opportunities I was talking about that may present themselves this week. So anytime we're talking about the North Node, we're talking about our North Star, where we're headed. And with the Sun sextile the North Node, there's a certain amount of clarity that you may be afforded this week in terms of where you're headed. But not just that. Sun sextile North Node is great for people stepping in and actually helping you. So not only are you self-aware, not only are you realizing where you need to go, but then the right people are sort of finding you or raising their hands to say, hey, do you need any help? I can help you out with that. So it's a very beautiful transit. And then finally, we have what I like to call You version 2.0. And this is the premier astrological event of the week and one of the premier astrological events of the year. And this is Jupiter trine Pluto. Profound transformation that begins in the mind, expansion and growth, and a new mindset equals a new life. Do not sleep on this transit. I mean, it's going to affect you whether you realize it or not. However, do not sleep on it. This is a transit that you're definitely going to want to take advantage of because, honey, it's going to catapult you into the future. All right. So let's get into the week and see what we've got. All right, so today we've got Mercury sextile Saturn and the moon is in Aquarius. Thereafter on Wednesday, we've got Mars conjunct Chiron and the moon moving into Pisces. And on Friday, we've got Mercury conjunct Uranus, which should be a very interesting transit, which I'll get to in a little bit. Saturday, we've got the moon moving into Aries, and then Sunday is jam-packed with activity. We close out the week with the Sun sextile the North Node, Mercury sextile Neptune, and Jupiter trine Pluto. All right, so without further ado, let's jump right in. All right, so today we start off with Mercury sextile Saturn. At the middle right-hand portion of the chart, you'll see Mercury in purple in Taurus. And then Saturn at the middle circle, right, is in Pisces. So those two planets are sextile. And then we have the moon in Aquarius, which you will see at the left-hand most circle in red. All right, so let's discuss. Oh. There we go. All right. So before we get into it, I just want to ask you a question. How productive do you feel like you were today? How was your mental space? Did you feel like things were clear? Was your mind cloudy? Did you have a productive kind of day? Let me know. I ask because Mercury sextile Saturn is amazing for clear thinking, good judgment, and common sense. It's like you were able to analyze things well. You were able to basically handle paperwork, your daily tasks. Like things should have felt like they flowed a little better today in terms of work and productivity. All right. I like this transit because it's a mundane kind of transit, but it's great for sort of everyday things. So any sort of everyday task that you had to accomplish today, you might have found that it was a little easier or things were just flowing a lot better. It's great for business. It's great for learning. It's great for school. It's great for, what else? It's great for things like paperwork, studying, research, all of that stuff that many of us do on a daily basis, right? It's great for long-term investments. It's great for making long-term plans because you've got clear thinking. Now, this particular transit was it was exact today. So both planets are at the same exact degree, 60 degrees apart, right? However, the energy of this particular transit will last a good 2 to 3 days. So don't worry if today wasn't necessarily the best day, or maybe you weren't as productive as you would have liked. Tomorrow is another day, and you have the opportunity to still take advantage of this planetary energy. So get to work, especially tasks that you've been putting off, things that you sort of let pile up, especially paperwork, emails, and stuff like that. You'll want to tackle that right now. It's also great for brainstorming and thinking of a master plan, especially when it comes to work, because again, you have clear thinking and good judgment. So put pen to paper and get to planning, okay? Now, the last thing I'll say about this particular transit that I like is that it fosters mentor-mentee relationships. So if you find that you need some guidance, or maybe that you have a lot of wisdom to impart, this is a great time to pair up with either a mentor or a mentee and get it popping. All right. So great transit for work and for sort of everyday things. All right. And then we have the waning gibbous moon in Aquarius. All right. So we are making our way to the new moon, right? The new moon is going down, I believe, on June 6th, if I'm not mistaken. So we're in the waning phase of the moon. So this means that the moon is decreasing in brightness, right? It's getting darker. And this is a time where we shed the things that we no longer need. Now, when the moon is in Aquarius, whether it's waxing or waning, it's like we seek to improve our lives. We have an emotional desire to better ourselves, to move into the future, to invent new things, to sort of break out of the mold and have new experiences. So when the moon is waning in the sign of Aquarius, it's like we have an eye to the future, and anything that's not in alignment with where we're trying to go or what we're trying to experience, we kind of chuck out the window, right? So any sort of now, because Aquarius is an air sign, right, has a lot to do with our ideas, communication, thoughts, etc. This is a great time to do sort of a mental cleanup. Think about where you want to go. Think about what you want to be, who you want to be, I should say, what you want to do, what you want to have, right? And then do sort of a mental audit and see, do my thoughts align with that? Do my beliefs align with that? Easy example, like, okay, I want to be a millionaire, but you think money is the root of all evil. Like, that's not going to work out for you too well. If you're trying to be a millionaire, you got to get on that millionaire mindset, right? So this is a great time to do a mental audit and see exactly what you got going on in there. Whose thoughts are you thinking? And this is something that came to me in meditation either this morning or yesterday. Sometimes a lot of what we think, a lot of our inner dialogue, a lot of our narratives are not even ours. Like, we've adopted them from our family, the people that are closest to us, from society. So it gets you to aspire to things that you don't necessarily want, or it gets you to think things about yourself that are not necessarily true. So it's really important to decipher, where are your thoughts coming from? Where do they originate? Whose story are you really telling? And is the story that you're telling actually yours? I feel like when the moon is waning in Aquarius, it's a great time to answer those questions. So you may want to do some journaling. You may want to do some meditation and figure out what's going on in here, right? All right. So let's keep it moving. All right, next up on Wednesday, we've got Mars conjunct Chiron and the moon in Pisces. So on the right-hand bottom portion of the chart, you will see Mars and Chiron are both at 22 degrees of Aries. And then in the other circle, you will see the moon is at 0 degrees of Pisces. So let's discuss. Mars conjunct Chiron. I alluded to this earlier, but this is about being proactive about doing healing work. And it's interesting because I'm very much a proponent of healing. Apart from being an astrologer, I'm a sound therapist. And so I assist people with their healing, right? But I find that a lot of people, and I've encountered this in sort of the manifestation community, that people are like, if you concentrate on healing too much, you get stuck in a healing loop. Like you feel like you always have to heal. And that's definitely a risk that you kind of run. But sometimes I think that people say that because they're kind of running away from the healing that they actually need to do. Healing is not linear, like I said before. Sometimes it requires several go-arounds for you to really get it. And it doesn't mean that you're not healed. It just means that you will encounter the same situation in order to completely purge the wound, right? So in one instance, you encounter a situation and you're in it. Okay. You're in it. You're looking at it like the same way I'm looking at you. That's exactly how you are in it. It's like you're in the eye of the storm, right? Then when you've done some healing work, you're not in the eye of the storm anymore. You're looking at the storm, right? You're in a safe place, but you're looking at this storm happening like over there, right? Then you do some further healing. Not only do you not see the storm, but it's not even in your immediate vicinity. You hear about the fact that there's a storm, right? Hopefully that makes sense, but that sort of demonstrates how healing works. And again, it's not easy, right? Even if you are somewhat removed from the wound or removed from the situation that triggers you, it's still work, right? It still requires some effort on your part that may not be the easiest thing. And having to confront your fears, having to confront your insecurities, having to confront the things that may have hurt you to your core sucks. Of course it does. But the only way to get through it is to get through it. And Mars conjunct Chiron is giving you that push. It's giving you that motivation. It's giving you that gumption to tackle those things so that the next time that you encounter this thing that wounded you, you're no longer wounded. You're far removed from it. You're able to observe it rather than be immersed in it. So this may present itself in a myriad of ways, right? You may be presented with a triggering situation. Now, because Mars represents conflict and war, this could be a situation perhaps that scares you, a situation that requires you to have courage, a situation that has you self-conscious about yourself. And your immediate, probably like knee-jerk reaction is to resist it, right? To be like, oh no, I'm not doing this again. Oh no, I'm not, whatever. However, Mars conjunct Chiron is like, listen, the time is now to cut this shit out. So what's interesting is that I've already started to experience this particular transit. And I'm in a situation that it's like a merry-go-round. I feel like I've been in this situation a myriad of times in different iterations with different people. And literally the other day, I was like, you know what? I'm getting off this merry-go-round. Like, I'm not even going to entertain this anymore. And it was a scary thing because it's like there was something that I used to habitually do, or there was a way that I used to habitually act. And I had to decide, listen, I'm not doing that anymore. And I'm like, well, I don't know how this person is going to react. I don't know what the end result is going to be by my changed behavior. But I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm tired of being on this merry-go-round. I'm tired of experiencing the same thing. And again, like I said before, it's like you probably get to the point where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you're like, nah, enough is enough. It's time for a change. And the way that Mars operates, it's quick. I would say it measures twice, cuts once, but it doesn't. Mars is just cut right then and there very impulsively, right? And sometimes that's what you need, right? I just talked about how sometimes people think you can stay in a healing cycle. Mars cuts that cycle in half, right? Mars is like, listen, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not going to overthink this. I'm not going to keep going on this merry-go-round. We're going to cut this right now, and then that's it. Right? Having the courage to face these situations in a different, new, bold, and dynamic way is really going to do wonders for your healing. All right. So you want to take a look at where Aries is in your natal chart. This will kind of let you know where this healing is taking place. But either way, take advantage of this energy because it's amazing. And then that same day, we have the moon moving into Pisces. Whenever the moon is in Pisces, things become hypersensitive. Pay attention to your dreams because they'll likely have very important messages for you. Psychic impressions, telepathy, all of that stuff is heightened when the moon is in Pisces. However, we're in the waning phase of the moon, and with Pisces being the last sign of the zodiac, some astrologers call Pisces the dustpan of the zodiac because it collects everything from Aries up until Pisces, right? Pisces is notorious for taking on other people's energy, other people's emotions. Pisces is like a sponge, right? So when the moon is waning in Pisces, it's a great time to also do some emotional clearing as well, especially if you're carrying emotions that are not even yours. If you're carrying someone else's fear, someone's stress, someone's anxiety, relinquish that shit. Not only do you not need it, but it's not yours to hold on to anyway. So I want you to understand what I've said up until this point. With the sun in Gemini, we are doing a mental audit, right? Specifically when the moon is in Aquarius, which is today. So you want to figure out what thoughts are not yours, what beliefs are not yours, and get rid of them, right? And then by Wednesday, we're shifting into this mode of healing, right? We have the courage to face our fears, face our insecurities once and for all. And we're getting rid of the emotions and all of that emotional gunk that doesn't even belong to us. We're relinquishing that. So already between Monday and Wednesday, we've got the opportunity to address not only our thoughts and our beliefs, but our emotions, just off the 4 sort of astrological transits that are going on. So definitely heed my advice and do the work. All right, let's keep it moving. So next up on Friday, we've got Mercury conjunct Uranus, and you'll see both of those planets at 24 degrees of Taurus. You'll see that at the upper right hand corner. Now, this particular transit is always interesting to me, all right, because understand that we are in Gemini season. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So we're going to feel this transit pretty potently to begin with, okay? Then, although we are not in Mercury retrograde season right now, this transit always kind of has the flavor of Mercury retrograde because of Uranus. Uranus is so erratic. It's so surprising. It's sudden changes. I call it the hand of God, right? It's the things over which we have no control. So Mercury conjunct Uranus. I feel like I have to sneeze. Hold on. All right, it's gone. All right, Mercury conjunct Uranus in Taurus. This is thinking radical thoughts, being pushed out of your comfort zone, surprises. And surprises don't necessarily mean bad surprises. It just means things that you didn't expect. Things like electronics malfunctioning, a little bit of anxiety and nervousness, right? Those are some of the textbook definitions of this particular transit. But what I love about it the most is that it stimulates your thinking. How many times have I said in this live, and probably since last week's live as well, that we're in Gemini season? It's all about thinking. And this particular transit stimulates your thinking. This is also a transit where you can have flashes of insight, where you can have aha moments. With both planets in Taurus, this could be money-making ideas. This could be, finding that nugget of information that could catapult you in terms of your money, right? Or in terms of your assets or something like that. Either way, it stimulates your thinking. So pay attention and keep a notebook with you, because the ideas are going to be coming like crazy. Not to mention the fact that Jupiter is also in Gemini right now. So you're going to want to pay attention to where Gemini is in your natal chart. This is where this sort of energy is going down, right? But lots of ideas, lots of flashes of insight. So write them down because you likely will forget them, okay? Now, the one caveat to this particular transit is that it can have you easily distracted. Very much like shiny thing syndrome, right? Lots of things going on that could have you losing your train of thought, that could have you forgetting what you just thought about, right? So again, either what I like to do, I like to use voice notes on my phone. So anytime I have an idea, not even the notes app, right? The notes app works sometimes, but voice memos, that's like, I love that. That is the perfect way to memorialize quick thoughts. Even if you have like not so quick thoughts that you want to flesh out, voice memos it comes in clutch for that. All right. So again, stimulates your thinking. So get to work, get thinking, brainstorm, because ideas will be plentiful. All right. Let's keep it moving. All right. And then on Saturday, what do I have going on here? I have a lot more things circled here than are actually going on. This is not the right, this is not the right screen, okay? Either way, on Saturday, we've got the moon moving into Aries, okay? So we started off the week with the moon in Aquarius, where we are doing a mental audit. Then we went to Pisces, where we were doing an emotional audit, right? Now we are in Aries. And with Aries, it's like we just want to get up and go and do things. We derive our emotional satisfaction from doing, right? Moving forward, doing something new. So presumably, if you've been heeding my advice and you did the mental audit, the emotional audit, by the time you get to the weekend, you're ready to start something new. You're ready to take action. You're ready to be bold and a little risky when it comes to moving forward. Now, we're still in the waning phase, so this might not necessarily be the best time to start something brand spanking new. However, because we're in the waning phase and we're getting rid of what no longer serves us, we can take action on taking out the garbage, right? So think of it this way. Moon in Aquarius, moon in Pisces, it's like you're literally cleaning up your house, right? And you know, when you do a deep clean, you've got garbage bags full of stuff to throw out, things to donate, all of that other stuff. Then when we get to the moon in Aries, you're literally throwing out the trash. You're literally getting rid of what no longer serves you. Now, what would that look like practically speaking? That would be perhaps having a difficult conversation with somebody. It may not even be difficult, but communicating with somebody, like what you're not going to do, what you don't want, or what you expect, things like that. Having a heart-to-heart conversation with somebody, perhaps letting them know how they make you feel. Right? These are all action steps that you likely can or will take when the moon is in Aries after you've done this mental and emotional audit. All right. So suffice it to say, moon in Aries, you're taking action, and you're taking action to take out the trash, right? You're dropping things off at Goodwill. You're taking things to the dumpster. You're getting rid of what no longer serves you, and you're being proactive and a bit impulsive about it as well. All right. Let's keep it moving. All right. And then we make it to Sunday. All right. So this is the right screen. All right. So on Sunday, we've got the Sun sextile the North Node. We've got Mercury sextile Neptune, and we've got Jupiter trine Pluto. So first up, Sun sextile Neptune. I don't know what I did. This is the right screen, but I like circled the wrong things. And you know, this is a testament to my own healing, because normally if I had made a mistake like this and I'm like live and I realized that I made a mistake, I would be mortified. I'd be humiliated. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I made that mistake. Now I'm just like, yo, it is what it is. Like, at least I'm here. I'm here. I made it. I'm giving you the information. It's not always going to be perfect, but you kind of get the point, right? All right. So let's just discuss anyway. So first up, Sun sextile the North Node. I alluded to this in the highlights. This is self-awareness and support, right? North Node is your North Star. It's where you're headed. It's what you endeavor to do, sort of the shoes you are here to fill in this lifetime. And with the Sun sextile the North Node, you're going to have opportunities for clarity with that. But not just that, you have people stepping up to say, hey, I can help you with this. But keep in mind, these are opportunities. They're not just going to fall in your lap. There's some effort required on your part to either find them or take advantage of them when they pop up. But this is great in terms of making headway for your purpose, your mission, your vocation, all of that stuff. It is a day of clarity. So observe, right? Observe what's coming into your reality. Observe the signs that present themselves. Be mindful of who you talk to and what they're saying to you. Maybe it's not going to be the case that someone has a neon sign holding up saying, hey, Mel, I'm here to help you. It might not be that. It might be a little more subtle than that. So you got to pay attention. You got to keep your eyes and ears open for these opportunities that are going to be popping up all over the place. Then we've got Mercury sextile Neptune. And I like this too because although it's not necessarily clarity with respect to your purpose or your mission, it gets you to imagine. It gets you to see the bigger picture. It gets you to be a little more hopeful, a little more optimistic, a little fantastical even when it comes to your thoughts. This is the day when you not only want to let your mind wander, but you want to be extra. You want to be creative. Engage in creative endeavors, even if you're not doing anything creative, right? Like writing, singing, dancing, whatever. Relax. It's a wonderful transit to just let your mind wander aimlessly. So take a nap. Again, pay attention to your dreams and just chill, relax. You want to be in a relaxed state. And I love this, even for the Sun sextile Neptune, because if you're doing the most, those opportunities that are going to present themselves, you're going to miss them, right? And, you know, we're in Gemini season. Gemini is very multitasky. So you may feel the urge to be doing 5 different things at once. You know, I was just thinking the other day about how back in the day, like, let's say you were watching a movie, especially if you're in my age demographic and you remember when there were no cell phones, right? You would watch a movie and literally just be watching the movie. Like you wouldn't be doing anything else. Now you're watching a movie, you're on your phone, you're on your computer, you're talking to someone. There's so many different things that we could be doing at the same time. And although there are times for that, Sunday is not one of them. Sunday, you're going to want to devote yourself to relaxing, devote yourself to creativity, turn your phone off, minimize distractions, and just allow your mind to wander. This is going to be the key, okay? And then finally, we've got Jupiter trine Pluto. Again, I did a whole video on this. I broke it down by sign even. So if you haven't checked it out already, link is in the description box below. But we are changing the way that we think radically. Okay, this is going to require you to think outside the box. Okay. Now, what I love about this transit is the fact that it is a trine. So it's not like you're going to have to put in a whole lot of effort. It's like you are going to be, it's almost like it's going to feel natural to you to think differently right now. So you're going to have to resist the urge to want to stick to your old story or to want to stick to your old narrative or to be like, oh, well, I don't know or whatever. Like, no, the time is now for change. Not just because that's a great thing to say. It's because it's true. It's because the astrology is allowing us to literally change the way that we think, change our narrative, change our stories, and thereby change our life. So the question is, what do you want? What do you want to have? What do you want to experience? And how are you standing in your own way? What I love about Pluto is that it's in Aquarius. Aquarius is all about the future. It's all about improvement and innovation. Pluto in Aquarius is like taking the barriers off of your mind, right? Like the other day I was driving and one of the dealerships by my house had that Cybertruck, like that Tesla Cybertruck. Now I think it's hideous, right? It looks like an army tank. However, Look at how futuristic it looks. That was someone's imagination. It's literally someone's imagination come to life. That's the energy that we're dealing with right now. Like that energy has always been around. Don't get it twisted. It's not like, oh, now you imagine things and they come to life. That's the law. That's the universal law, right? But the way that the cosmos is set up is like, listen, if you will dare to dream this, if you will take the limits off your mind, that shit will materialize, like point blank period. So what do you want? I don't care what it is. I don't care how outlandish it seems. I don't care if it's never existed before. It can and it will if you will hold the vision of it. So take some time and figure out what the fuck you want. All right. And let's make it happen. And think about the bigger picture. Don't think about where you are. Think about where you want to be. And that's a beautiful energy to not only end the week, but to enter into a new month where there is no limit when it comes to what we can create, what we can have, who we can be, and what we can do. All right. All right. So now let's get into some messages from Spirit. This is weird. I can't help but feel like I missed something. I don't know. I thought there was more going on this week. I thought that this was going to last a lot longer. Maybe I'm just not talking as much. You know what's so funny? And I thought it was funny. One of the comments I got, I don't know if I mentioned this to my sister, if I mentioned this on one of the lives. Someone left a comment and they're like, you really talk a lot. They're like, don't stop, but you talk a lot. And I'm like, okay. So I was a little mindful of like, okay, maybe I'm just repeating myself too much or talking too much, but I thought there was more, but I guess not. In any event, we've come to the portion of the live where I pull cards for messages for each sign from Spirit. Of course, I do these by sign. However, it could be your sun sign, moon sign, Venus, Jupiter, North Node, doesn't matter. If it's your message, it resonates. And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. Just leave it alone. All right, so first up, as always, we've got Aries. Let's see what we've got for Aries for this week. Aries, we have the card entitled Etheric Realms. This is the card associated with Pisces, and in the tarot, this is the Moon card. So you guys are kind of in your feelings this week, all right? And it's not necessarily a comfortable place for you to be. So you've got Mars conjunct Chiron in your sign. So when it comes to healing, you guys are going to feel this the most, especially because Mars is your ruling planet. So feel what you're feeling. Don't run away from it. Don't be like, oh my gosh, I don't want to feel this, or, like it hurts, so I'm stuffing it. No, now is the time to really feel it. Emotions are meant to be felt. They're meant to be felt so that they can come up and leave. That's the purpose of emotions, right? So feel what you're feeling and try to figure out where did these stem from? What has you so scared? Because if I'm being honest, in this moment, I'm feeling anxiety with a little bit of fear. There's something that you are afraid of, whether it's the fear of addressing the emotion or the emotion of fear as it relates to some sort of external circumstance. Feel it and let it go. Do the healing work. You'll be much better off for it. Okay. Next up, we've got Taurus. Let's see what we've got for Taurus for this week. Oof. Okay, Taurus, you've got 2. You've got your card, which is the card entitled Life Lessons. This card is associated with Taurus and the Hierophant in the tarot. And then we have the card entitled The Afterlife. This is the card associated with Uranus, and this is the Fool card. All right, so it's time to embark on a new life lesson. This is giving very much like you've graduated and now you're on to a new lesson that will use the wisdom that you gained from the previous lesson. Okay. Now, this lesson is requiring you to dive in head first. So don't overthink this. Don't be like, oh, I don't know, whatever. You know how I gave you the example of me before, how I kind of just had to decide I'm getting off the merry-go-round and I'm cutting this thing, like cut it right there. No meandering, no overthinking. You are being urged to do the same thing. You have an important lesson to learn in this new cycle. And you have to just allow spirit to teach it to you. Try not to control this learning experience. Whatever is going to happen to you, just let it happen. And that should bring a certain level of comfort and solace, because there's nothing you really have to do. You kind of just have to roll with the punches. I mean, it could be easy street, or spirit could grab you by your edges. I don't know. Whenever we're dealing with Uranus, we never know. It's all a surprise, right? However, just go with it. Don't try to micromanage. Don't try to resist. Just do what you feel led to do, particularly when it comes to your intuition, and just let it happen. Okay? All right. Next up, we've got Gemini. Let's see what we've got for Gemini for this week. Okay, Gemini, this is the card entitled The Gatekeeper. This is associated with Aries, and this is the Emperor card, all right? So this is giving me two messages. Number one, Aries, we've got Mars conjunct Chiron in Aries. For you, I believe that is your 11th house if you are Gemini rising. So this has a lot to do with your friendships, healing things like betrayal, loyalty, trustworthiness in your friendships. Maybe something that you are handling this week, or that you're dealing with this week. Some of you are really taking charge of something. I'm seeing you, although Aries is the ram, not the bull, I'm seeing you grabbing the bull by the horns and really taking control of something. And Spirit wants to remind you that you need to be strategic with this. You may feel this impulsive energy to just get this done, do this thing. Like you're in the moment and you're just like, let me just do this. And Spirit is like, all right, I like your motivation, but I need you to back that up with a little bit of strategy. Like take your brain with you. You guys are a mercurial sign. So of course you're going to think, don't overthink, but definitely take your brain and your common sense with you. All right. So for some, there's healing friendships. For others, there's taking the bull by the horns and starting something new in a bold and dynamic way. All right. Next up, we've got Cancer. Let's see what we've got for Cancer for this week. Cancer, we have the card entitled Reincarnation. This is associated with Saturn, and this is the card that is akin to the World card in the Tarot. So it's graduation time for you. You successfully completed a cycle. For some of you, there is like the planning of a trip, like a long distance trip, like halfway around the world, or maybe you're entertaining the idea of that. But you have your sights set far and wide, and you've got the wind in your sails is what I'm being told. Please understand, and this is an aside, please understand that these are messages that Spirit gives me. And sometimes the way that Spirit says it is not necessarily the way that I would speak. I wouldn't be saying the wind under your sails, but somebody here thinks that that's what somebody needs to hear. So I guess it's neither here nor there. However, you've got the wind in your sails. Like there is this sense of accomplishment. Like you've closed a chapter, you've successfully closed a chapter, and now you feel like the world is your oyster, and it indeed is. So explore, move past where you are, be a little risky. And by risky, do something you normally wouldn't do. Right? Maybe you are someone who travels, but you've only been maybe 3 or 4 hours away from where you currently live. Take that trip halfway around the world. At least plan that trip halfway around the world. Get out of your environment. There's a lot more for you to see and experience. And with this chapter being closed, like you're at a time where it's finally time to broaden your horizons. Okay? Next up, we've got Leo. Let's see what we've got for Leo for this week. All right, Leo, you have the card entitled Etheric Realms, the card associated with Pisces, and this is the Moon card. So you also are in your feelings this week. There is this, so I'm seeing like you looking in the mirror, and that lets me know that there is a relationship that is going to mirror back to you how you've been feeling, particularly about yourself, okay? It could be a little jarring. It could be a little emotional. But this serves as information for you to understand what's really going on with you. Because I get the sense that you have been slightly, how would I put this? You haven't necessarily been paying attention to how you're really feeling. Like you've kind of glossed over your emotions and you've just been like, you've mostly just been focusing on your thoughts, what you're doing, but you've been ignoring your emotions. And I feel like now you're not going to have a choice but to address how you've been feeling, because other people are going to mirror back to you how you've been feeling. Okay. So yeah, who is this in the chat? Okay. Okay. Anyway, yes, how you've been feeling is going to be mirrored back to you. So don't shy away from it. And don't just automatically think, oh, this person's treating me this way. Or it's not about the person. It's about what information that person is showing to you about yourself. So pay attention. Okay. Next up, we've got Virgo. Let's see what we've got for Virgo for this week. All right, Virgo, we've got the card entitled Repressed Desires. This is the card associated with Capricorn, and this is the devil in the tarot. All right, I love the depiction of this spider web. So you seem to be somewhat stuck, okay? Now, this feeling of stuckness has a lot to do with perhaps something. It's like you want something, however, you feel stuck and you can't go get it, right? For instance, I'm going to give you the example that I was just saying before about how I had decided that, okay, it's time for me to get off the merry-go-round. I felt like I was stuck on the merry-go-round, going round and round. I want to go on a different ride. I want to experience something else, but I'm still on this merry-go-round, right? So you have to assess where you're being stuck or what you're stuck in, right? Assess that and realize, or at least evaluate how you being stuck relates to what you actually want. Are you able to get what you want? Or are you stuck in some sort of karmic pattern, karmic cycle, karmic activity that's preventing you from actually having what you want? So this is going to be a week of self-reflection where you're figuring out what is in alignment with what you want and what's not, and what is keeping you stuck and stagnant, and how you can free yourself from this spider web. Okay. All right. Next up, we've got Libra. Let's see what we've got for Libra for this week. All right, Libra, we have the card entitled Reincarnation associated with Saturn, and this is the World card. All right. It's time for you to plant new seeds. So you too are also entering a new cycle. However, this next cycle is really dependent on the seeds that you are sowing. You know how people say or tend to say the grass is greener on the other side, and then other people will say, well, no, the grass is greener where you water it. This is the week where you're actually planting grass. So you decide what kind of grass you want. Whether it's natural grass, whether it's sod, whatever it is, like you decide what you are planting this week. Because you see, if you notice in the center of this card, this looks like a leaf, right? Like this is planting season for you. Even though we're in Gemini season, this is mental. It's the mental planting that you are doing this week. So understand that there is a door that has closed completely. Stop trying to open it. Stop trying to reopen it. Stop thinking that it's ajar and that something is going to creep through. It's not. That door is completely closed. So now what are you planting in your mind? Whatever was behind that door that's closed, it's no longer available to you. So you have this space to actually plant mental seeds. So what exactly are you planting? This is the week where you're going to figure out what that is. Okay. So take the time to do the work and figure that out. Next up, we've got Scorpio. Let's see what we've got for Scorpio for this week. Scorpio, we've got the card of Karma. This is associated with Libra, and this is the Justice card. So balance is going to be necessary this week, okay? I feel like something is coming back around, right? Karma is like a boomerang, right? And something is coming back around, but it's coming back around to balance itself out. I'm getting the sense there's not much that you need to do. I feel like there was this work that was done beforehand, and now the effects of that work are going to find you this week, and things are finally going to be in balance. So if you've been feeling imbalanced, if things have been out of whack, I feel like this is the week where things start to even out for you, okay? This feels very pleasant. It feels like, finally, like the tides are turning, or okay, this situation is getting better. That's kind of what it feels like. So yeah, just allow spirit to balance things out for you. And I feel like you'll be feeling good this week. Okay. Next up, we've got Sagittarius. Let's see what we've got for Sag for this week. Okay. All right, Sag, we have the card entitled Life Purpose. This is associated with Cancer, and this is the Chariot card. So you are on the move this week. For some, I feel like it's a week of moving, not necessarily changing residence, but maybe you are driving places. Maybe you've got a lot of meetings. I'm seeing like a lot of activity with the car. So there could be a road trip. There could be like driving, and you understand what I mean, right? But in other, like sort of the deeper message with this is that you are being driven toward your life purpose, sort of whether you realize it or not. It's almost like you're going someplace you've never been, and so you've got the GPS on, and you're letting the GPS direct where you go. GPS is obviously God or your highest self, and it's really moving you in the direction of your life's purpose. But I get the sense you don't necessarily even realize it. Right? You're kind of just coasting along. You're kind of just doing your thing. And you're like, okay, GPS says make a right here, then go down 2 miles, and then make a left. And before you know it, you're like, hey, I was supposed to be here. Like, it's almost like allowing the GPS to guide you when you don't even know what the destination is, but you feel good about it. You feel grounded, you feel centered, and you feel faithful. Like you can trust the directions that you're getting right now because they feel good to you. You feel like you're in alignment. So do that. Wherever you are being pushed, wherever you are being guided to go there because it is in alignment with your life's purpose. Okay. Next up, we've got Capricorn. Let's see what we've got for Capricorn for this week. Okay, Cap, we have the card entitled Chaos. Okay. And this is the card associated with Mars, and this is the card associated with the Tower in the Tarot. All right. Pandora's box. Pandora's box is opening, and there's a lot to unpack there. I'm hearing the word therapy. So for some of you, this may be a great week to see a therapist or talk to someone that you trust. You got to let all of this stuff out. Some of you have kept a lot of things bottled inside, and it's time to let it go once and for all. Remember, I told you, especially with the moon in Pisces, you're doing an emotional audit. The things that don't belong to you, you are relinquishing, you're getting rid of. I get this sense that when you open this Pandora's box, a lot of the stuff you see here, it may not even all be yours. It could be conditioning. It could be emotions from family or people in your immediate vicinity, right? Like it's time to unpack these things. It's time to unload. The other message I'm getting is like some of you need a physical clean out. Let's just say that. All right. So maybe you want to get up on some herbs. Maybe you want to do like a fruit cleanse. You need cleansing right now, Cap. Physical, emotional, and mental. So this is a week where you kind of want to detox, all right, in all ways. There's a lot of weight that you're holding on to, and it's time to relinquish all of that, all right? Next up, we've got Aquarius. Let's see what we've got for Aquarius for this week. All right, Aquarius, we have the card entitled The Afterlife. This is associated with Uranus, and this is the Fool card. A new adventure awaits, and you are being urged to jump in head first. I'm hearing relationship. Some of you may be reticent. I don't know if I'm using the right word, reticent to start dating again, all of that kind of stuff. But Spirit is kind of going to give you a swift kick in the ass to sort of push you off the cliff. And don't worry, you'll be all right. You're not going to hurt yourself. You're going to learn how to fly on the way down. There is a new adventure that awaits you in the realm of love, in the realm of relationships. And you kind of just have to enter it blindly. It's going to feel weird. It's going to feel uncomfortable, but the time has come. The time has definitely come, and you will be surprised at who pops up or what situations arise. All right. So be open, be receptive, and allow spirit to take you where you ultimately need to go. All right. And then last but certainly not least, we've got Pisces. Let's see what we've got for Pisces for this week. Pisces, we've got the Self. Okay, this card is associated with Leo, and this is the Strength card in the Tarot. All right, there is something that's like, it's like an exclamation point is what I'm seeing. Something is being emphasized this week. It requires you to have courage. It requires you to take a leadership position, perhaps. But something is going to be heavily emphasized, and you're going to have to speak up. You're going to have to stand up. You are going to have to stand apart from the crowd. You are going to have to let it be known that you're the person to do this thing. You're the person to have this thing. Like, it's giving very main character energy. So don't feel like you have to play a supporting role. Don't feel like you have to defer to someone else. This is really about you taking your place on the throne and being unapologetic about it. All right. May feel a little odd to you. You may feel like you're doing too much. I guarantee you're probably not even doing enough. So be fearless. Don't be afraid to roar and take your rightful place on your throne. All right, my loves. So that concludes this edition of the weekly Astro Forecast. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you can use going into this week. For information on my products and services, they're either tagged to the video or linked in the description box below. Thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you nothing but the absolute best for this upcoming week, and I will see you in my next video. All right, my loves, take care.